Testicles and testicles, welcome one and all to more breasticle drama. That's right, the breast of the nation, Jimothy Breast himself. Yes, people overheard me making this intro last time we talked about Mr. Breast, and I definitely felt scarred. Yes, I love opening up my videos and they start talking about breasts all the time. They think I'm a gooner, but they're 100% correct. So today we're going to be milking the breast situation a little bit more. All right, a little bit more. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be great. We have some more breasts to milk. So somebody by the name of The Asher Show dropped a video that MrBeast allegations just got worse, and I thought wrongly that this was gonna be a whole recap of all the MrBeast drama that happened so far. And being that I have been basically on the nose of the MrBeast drama, I've been covering everything as it's been happening because honestly, it's one of the wild shows that's been going on for a very long time, and I've been enjoying every second of it, mostly because I am an arbiter of chaos. I enjoy to sit here and watch the fools flail around me like kerfoons. But anyway, I was wrong. For the latter 2/3 of this video, he does an interview with one of MrBeast's former editors, and apparently the guy exposes a lot of deep shit. People told me I should look into this, and I was like writing them off, but apparently MrBeast's CEO was distributing drugs to force the employees to be able to work for longer hours. That's kind of fucked up. Like, what? So we're gonna get into this. We're gonna see what this is all about. Shout out to the other MrBeast drama. In my latest MrBeast drama update, Dogpack commented on my video, MrBeast has nothing to say about the PDF allegations, but a spokesperson did tell Nux News that MrBeast once gave a half-eaten hot dog to an unpaid intern. The spokesperson also said MrBeast is working on a new initiative called Team Fleas, which will build home for homeless fleas. Thank you, Dogpack404, once again for interesting updates on the MrBeast situation. But on to the newest dog-whistling employee of MrBeast. Oh, God. If they're actually distributing drugs to make their editors work harder, that's pretty fucked up.
I mentioned that I spoke with another MrBeast employee who came forward with his story. Well, I spoke with him directly, and he shed a light on a couple things that weren't really discussed in anyone else's videos or testimonies.
Oh,
How long did you work for Jimmy for? You said 3 years.
Yeah, so I worked for Jimmy from November of 2018 to, I think, beginning October of 2021, so almost 3 years.
What did you do there?
Oh, God. Dude, I can't believe this. I can't believe that every employee is just coming out of the woodwork. See, the issue is when you have like these employees that are obviously, you know, they were discharged unceremoniously. So there's always something to worry about here. Are they speaking now for clout because obviously they feel wronged in some way, or are these criticisms actually legitimate, and it's really wading through the poop trying to find the real shit? Damn, that was deep. That was deeper than I expected it to be. But anyway, that's my job. I am the poop waiter, and you could be the tissues in this proverbial situation that wipe the ass of justice.
I started off with
Subscribe to wipe the ass of justice.
with me editing for Beast Reacts in 2018. Did a lot of work to really prove myself on that, and then became editor and post-production manager on. Also, I had some water on my lips, so that's going to be great on the camera. I moved to post-production manager and editor at the same time for Beast Reacts.
How the hell do you become a post-production manager and an editor at the same time? That sounds brutal.
Like 2018, 2019-ish. And then they really still enjoyed my work up to that point. So at the end of 2019, I was contracted to go out to North Carolina to work on main channel videos because December of 2019 was just like they were pushing out one video a week.
Damn. Okay. All right. Hard work.
And like they were all huge videos, and it was like all hands on deck. So they wanted me to go out there and help on that. I went out there and then, you know, put in my worth out there to the point where they enjoyed it so much that they offered for me to move out to North Carolina and work full time as a editor / post-production manager, and I accepted. So in January of 2020, I moved out to North Carolina, worked on more.
It's so crazy to think about how MrBeast actually like gets homes for his employees. And I know he frames that as like the most wholesome thing in the world. It's like, fantastic news, guys. Not only do you get to work on the coolest channel of all time, but we also buy you a house. And it's like, wow, that's so awesome. Then it's like, yes, and we lock you in the basement of that house until your work is done. We will drug you and we will stuff you like a chicken. Like it's a control tactic that's framed as like a benevolent overlord CEO. It's such a wild trip. Like, only on the internet do you see this sort of shit. Like, because this wouldn't get out otherwise. You realize that even the news sites that are actually covering this story, they are giving like the most softball questions of all time. It's like, every time you see the news cover the MrBeast drama, it's always, hey, guys, apparently there was a mistake on the production of a MrBeast video. But because we have the internet, we can actually hear people's voices. We actually can see how wild of a cult-like control tactic this is.
They wanted me to work on main channel videos, but they also wanted me to head this other subsidiary company they had called Horizontal Productions.
Nani? What the frick is this? This is a whole ass other How many companies were under this man's breast? This is crazy. Shit, okay.
And eventually they told me that I needed to stop.
Horizontal Productions. It's where we turn the camera from vertical to horizontal before we film the porn. MrBeast porn industry is gonna go crazy.
Working on the main channel videos and just head Horizontal Productions for gaming and reacts. I basically did that from March of 2020 to October of 2021. During that time, I was post-production manager. I was also production manager. I was also an editor, and I was also a retention specialist.
Why did they get rid of this guy? He was doing everything. Wait, what? He was doing the production management. That means coming up with the ideas, right? Let me try to help you out here, okay? When it comes to making YouTube videos, there's a lot more that goes into making YouTube videos than you think. It's not just turn the camera on, yap for a few minutes, and then upload it, unless you're me, in which case that is exactly what I am doing on Nuxanor, the greatest channel on all of the internet. Revolutionizing slop content one day at a time, okay? But for the most part, when it comes to actually making content for a channel, you need to plan shit, okay? You need to plan it, you need to coordinate it with all the people that are going to be in the video, you need to actually produce the video. Then you need, for post-production, to figure out exactly how you can organize the video and edit it in a way that it'll retain people, that the thumbnail and title will actually bang, and that, you know, it has a shelf life. Maybe it'll have the ability to actually promote future content or get you to subscribe for a part 2 of the series. And then, you know, all that stuff. And then he's also the guy that's editing it too. So, for reference, let's say you're a Minecraft channel. The production manager needs to come up with the idea that it's going to be an 100 days in Minecraft without wiping my ass challenge, okay? He's also going to need to coordinate the 5 people that are going to be in the 100 days Minecraft without wiping my ass challenge. He's then going to need to make sure that they schedule it at the right time, they actually get the footage, they record it, they actually send him the footage. Trust me how many times people forget to send you footage and shit like that happens. They send you all the footage. Then you have to figure out how to organize the video. Because right now you have, 100 days, right? That's freaking insane. That's 2,000 hours of footage from 5 perspectives. You have to take all of that and you have to slop it out into a 30-minute long video that's, shifting from perspective to perspective with a cohesive narrative. That's all in the production and editing stages. So he comes up with that idea, he scripts it, he edits it, post-production, he then makes the thumbnail, and then when you see 100 Days in Minecraft Without Wiping My Ass challenge, he did everything aside from actually record.
Wow.
And yeah, so I had 4 full-time jobs wearing all these hats all at the same time, because I would go, like the other editors would edit the videos and then send it to me via Frame. I don't know if you know what Frame is, like where you leave comments on videos and things like that. And they would send that to me, and I would stay up until 3 a.m., 4 a.m. every single night, commenting on those videos on what needs to change. Like, I worked Thanksgiving, Christmas, my 30th birthday, 4th of July, from 2020 to 2021. New Year's, like every
Bro,
single.
this is the classic MrBeast NDA tactic. It's like when you sign the NDA, you also sign away your rights to have holidays as an American citizen. All right? You are hereby renouncing your birthday.
Holiday you can think of, I worked those holidays.
Oh my God.
Just so I could comment on these videos, and then I would go to bed at 3 or 4 a.m. and then get up at like 9:30 the next day just so I could drive back to the studio and then work on production stuff.
That's a full day. There's no way you could force people to do this. Like, there are actually employment laws. I guess no one ever heard of that. But, dude, there are real laws to this stuff. There's no way he should be allowed... If he wants to slow down on working, there's no way he could be forced to do all this work, right? This has to be him accepting the burden to some extent. Obviously, there's going to be an incredible amount of pressure that's being put on his shoulders to do all this stuff, and I feel for him. But there's no way that is normal. It's not slave labor because he's allowed to leave. It's consensual slave labor, just like how on my tier list. So as we know, slave labor that is S tier on the criminal tier list. However, consensual slave labor that goes down, that drops a couple notch. That goes to like B tier. Same as consensual cannibalism.
Wow.
Every single day from 2020 to 2021.
And 2 years doing that? Holy shit.
The craziest thing about that is that, like, I mean, you know me, we've hung out before and everything.
This is what they call legal exploitation. What the fuck?
I just never complained about it because I just took the hits and then didn't say anything.
Damn.
But it speaks to the culture of the MrBeast company that's the way it is. You don't complain about your work.
Right.
Is that everybody? So does everyone really walk in there and they're like, all right, listen, now we're not going to force you to work 15 hours a day. But if you don't, we might fire you. It's like, oh, hell yeah. Listen, technically, we're not forcing you to do anything. You don't have to work here at all.
Just do your job. Don't report it to Jimmy because Jimmy doesn't care. Jimmy never asked about how I was doing or anything because Jimmy is, quite frankly, a sociopath. So
yikers, mikers. Yeah, that's scary. Man just drops that. I mean, to be fair, he probably is a sociopath. However, it is important to notice that this is like actual black company type shit, right? This makes Niji Sanji sound like frolicking in the meadows. But yeah, the idea of a boss not asking their employee if they're doing well, like, when I used to hear stuff like that, it used to really bother me a lot. And I used to be like, well, I mean, ultimately, he's an employee. He's the boss. He's the employee. Maybe he doesn't have to ask how he's doing. Like, he's doing a job for him. But then I got employees, and I always ask how they're doing. And I always talk to them. And I work out personal life shit with them. Like, all of my employees are also my friends. Maybe it's not the healthiest mindset to have, but that legitimately is. Obviously, I'm not going to give examples because that's none of your business. But it is crazy to me to think that you have an employee that's working 15 hours a day for you for 2 years straight, including, 4th of July, birthdays, Christmas, and you're not even going to be like, compliment the guy or see how he's doing. Like, I can't even imagine something like that. Like, that's just inhuman to me.
Right.
Again, the inhumanity allegations aren't exactly the biggest thing on the roster here. Obviously, MrBeast hiring pedophiles is going to be so much worse than this and ultimately overshadowing all of it. But it makes you recognize who these people are. And that's what I find so interesting about internet drama in general. It's like, I'm on a much smaller scale doing the same shit as this guy. And, like, what the frick? Classic person I'd like to rub my butthole on in a not gay way, of course.
if he wants to hang out with you, it's definitely going to be money centric. It's definitely going to be how he can benefit from you.
Damn.
Nothing is ever like, let's just have a good time, watch a movie or something. It's always, he's always going to be talking about work. He's always going to be wanting you to do something productive.
Obviously, Mr. Editor-san over here is, he's explaining what the perspective is there, but yeah, though, that I don't think is such a problem. A lot of people are work-based. A lot of people don't want to talk or chill with their employees because they'd rather chill with, I don't know, their family or whatever. But I get that. okay? This is not the largest claim ever. I don't sit down and watch movies with my editors. We do talk about random real-life shit when real-life shit is going on. But, so that's just basic humanity. To go the extra step to watch movies with them and chill with them, all right, I'm okay. That's okay. I think that's not so bad.
He wanted you basically to read his mind on what needed to be changed, but no one has that power.
I've heard him say that before in actual interviews. He says that he gets people to shadow him so they know what to do without him even saying it. He wants people to know exactly what he's thinking before he does it.
Not even partially. That's where James Warren comes in too.
Nani?
Because
James Warren is the secret CEO of the MrBeast company, by the way.
Warren thinks that he can read Jimmy's mind. And so all the changes that are made to the video comes from James Warren of what needs to be done to this video. And even then, James Warren really doesn't know what Jimmy's thinking either.
And is it true that you train somebody to essentially be you?
Oh, 100%.
And where is that person?
Bro thinks he's the main character of Alien Romulus. He's trying to make himself a David android to take over the world. Wait, what?
CEO. He just runs like the hiring and basically, while I'm here just having fun, what is it, Monday? He's over there working.
Why did he say that so casually? While I'm having fun, he's working, yes. Why do I train people to be like me? So that I can employ them as slaves and I can vibe. What the fuck? How does he just talk like that so calmly? How does he say that so calmly? Bro!
James Warren is the one that strongholds the entire company to change the video to...
Jimmy be like, I want to hire 11 from Stranger Things as my employee and also pay them in Feastable bars.
To how he thinks the video needs to be changed to.
So you were working around the time that James Warren was actually still CEO there?
Yes, yeah. I think James Warren is still CEO there.
Oh.
James Warren, okay, for those of you that want the quick rundown on James Warren, because I absorb all the lore on the internet, so you don't have to, okay? And I could feed it to you in bite-sized meat chunks in your mouth. James Warren, I think this isn't even alleged, but I'm going to say allegedly just to cover my own ass, allegedly ran a Ponzi scheme where his partner in crime in this Ponzi scheme served 10 years in prison for the Ponzi scheme that James Warren ran with him. James Warren would convince old people to invest in this Ponzi scheme, and they would lose everything. To my recollection, I could be wrong, but that's to my recollection. That's crazy to make this guy the CEO of your company. Apparently, he's MrBeast's cousin or something.
James Warren, I think he's always been the CEO of MrBeast.
To your knowledge, did you know about him offering substances to people to stay and work longer?
Yep.
What? The drug distribution allegations are real? I thought that was like a joke. I thought it was like, oh yeah, he drugs his editors to work longer. Like, that's the kind of joke I make, okay, with Stevie. The manager of my Nuxanor channel. Like, I talk to Stevie. We make these jokes all the time. Like, Stevie will say, like, oh, back to the slave workshop I go, ha 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 ha. And I'm like, ha ha ha, you know, whatever. But, like, I thought that was, like, hyperbole. Maybe it means coffee. Maybe substances are just caffeine. It's like, maybe that's what we're talking about. Okay, all right.
Yep, Adderall.
Adderall? You need a prescription to get Adderall because it's a controlled substance. Wait a second. How did this guy get his hands on so much Adderall to freaking drug up his editors? Man just casually drops that in the middle of a conversation?
There was a huge, I say huge, but it was all internal. There was a time in summer of 2020, it might have been fall, where Adderall was being passed around the company, and there were
what the fuck?
There were higher up employees that were offering it to other employees just so they could work all night and edit videos all night.
Oh god, dude, this is crazy. This is insane. Holy shit. That's wild. Okay.
So that way they could like stop complaining and stop sleeping.
No, we're not adding drug lord to the allegations tier list. Okay, get the fuck out of here. We're not doing. Okay, get out of here.
And it was investigated internally within the company.
So yes, my employee, he was trying to edit videos, but he was having a really hard time focusing, so I gave him Viagra to keep him awake. Listen, it may not be the correct antidote to the crime, but I felt like it would work, and it did.
But how far does that go? Like,
That was for the Genshin video. No, that was a joke.
it's like it did nothing. Like this whole thing lasted like a week. I remember James Warren had to be pulled out of the company story for like a week, and then the next week he was right back in.
Dude, this is the crazy company shuffling bullshit that happens every single time. Every single time. It's like, there was this other guy, LaKoya Hill, who was allegedly abusing people and assaulting people and shit like that. Whatever, I don't remember all the details. But after they found out about that and the person complained that they were sexually assaulted by LaKoya Hill, they didn't fire LaKoya Hill. They just kind of moved him around for a little bit and then moved him right back. And then new allegations came out and they moved him around again to a different side of the company and then literally still moved him back. Like, guys-os, friendos, homos and homies, this not kosher.
That's an employee. I believe that's one of James Warren's friends named Devin Leach. And that's him admitting right there that, like,
CeeLo needs to join the Superhuman Adderall Task Force Delta Team. CeeLo on Adderall would be nuts. Hilarious.
he is part of the crew that's passing around Adderall in the company. And by the way, in that message, John Smith is Jimmy. And it's funny that my proof of that being Jimmy is this message that I found where he sent an article of his wiki feed.
John Smith is Jimmy because he's like, look at my feet. And he posts a picture of his wiki feed. That's the crazy... Dude, oh my god. Who is so much of a narcissist that they flex their foot score on wiki feet? That's awesome. That's awesome.
Confirming that that's him. Yes.
Right. I think that's proof enough. Everyone knows WikiFeed is a very reputable website. 4.8 out of 5 is a very high score, so he must be very proud about that. This tweet, you said, hello, former MrBeast employee here. This video and insight from Rosanna Pansino paints a really good picture as to how Jimmy acts, and you quoted her video reading the leaked documents, which was how to succeed at a MrBeast production. That document was accurate to how things go in the company?
Yes, it was accurate to how things go in the company. I'll say that I have to confirm this. That document was probably released after I was laid off from MrBeast, which I can also talk about why I was laid off, because that's the truth.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, that was probably posted after my time. And there might be a little bit of it might be because of me, because I kept on telling Jimmy no to stop.
This guy was the freaking slave prime. He was the slave that all other slaves were meant to emulate. It's like, yes, we've enslaved him so properly. We will now have everyone else follow this person's exact regimen.
Stuff, and he hated hearing that because he wants to be surrounded by yes men.
Right.
It's very telling of his personality. Would not surprise me if he's still that way, because he never learned his lesson. Because everything is such a boys' club at MrBeast.
Okay.
I mean, to the point where he goes on a podcast and says, "Hey, I don't know how to talk to women," which, rip to his girlfriend.
Terrible thing to say. Like, are they not also human beings? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Listen, not being able to talk to women is not as big of an allegation as I think a lot of people are making it out. A lot of people are calling him sexist for clips on his podcast where he said he's not good at talking to women. I'll be honest. Saying that I'm not good at talking to women is cringe, sure, but not for sexist purposes. It's due to lack of riz purposes. Now, I'll be honest. Having no riz is worse than being sexist, all right? I said that purely so you can take it out of context and cancel me on Twitter. I gotta get the Twitter trolls some shit while I'm on my vacation. If you don't, that's why the current audio setup is probably a little wonky. I'm on vacation, just having a good fun. Good fun. But the reason why I make all of these points, and they're incredibly important to make, is I think his new video, Men versus Women in the Wilderness video, that shit was sexist, okay? He got trained freaking survival women, mad lasses, out there in the wilderness, and got 5 random hobos for the dudes, and put them up against each other, and then all of his challenges were benefiting the women every single time, and then surprise, the women actually won at the end. Big shocker. See, that's sexist. Saying that I can't talk to women, that's no riz, okay? Which might be worse. I leave that for you to decide.
One time during a Discord call during one of the gaming sessions, he mentioned that someone was acting very autistic, and I remember calling him out on that because I have autism. Whenever I did call him out on that,
Okay, again, not nice, but not a super big allegation for someone to use the word autistic in like a derogatory fashion. Not the nicest thing to do, but again, not the worst thing in the universe. Right? This like reminds me of Dr. Disrespect when he came back and he's like, yeah, I may have messaged a minor inappropriately, but there are streamers that say the N-word. And it's like, bro, levels, brother, homie, my guy, not the same thing.
just like, yeah, whenever I called him out on that, he just like shut down and didn't say anything. So not only does he talk like a gamer, he's also a fucking pussy. So
you see, that's so much worse. See, like, I feel like I'm literally toggling back and forth here. It's like, listen, the pussy allegations are always gonna be worse than the gamer words allegations. I'm just saying, get him at it, get him at it. Oh God. The rule of note: never take anything I say seriously. It is all meant as sarcasm. Everything, except for the part where I say I want to rub my asshole on the chaotic leeches of society. That is not sarcasm. That was sarcasm.
That's the reason why he's not responding to anything. And then posting on...
I don't think so. I don't think the lack of response is because he's a pussy. I think he might be a pussy as a complete separate thing, all right? But I don't think that's why he's not responding to things. I think he's not responding to things because any more of a limelight he puts on it will just make it bigger. I don't think responding will necessarily even help if he has nothing to say. I don't think it's a pussy thing. I think it's just... like the evil sociopath narcissist business move thing.
Yeah. And then also he's like he's posted like 2 TikToks in the past week, like ignoring all of this.
He posted 4 videos on his main channel ignoring all of this.
You can see that his cave video doesn't have as much views as he would usually get in a week's time.
I didn't even know.
His cave video was dog shit.
He posted again.
He
posted 3 videos since these allegations dropped. 3. He posted the nuclear bunker video, he posted the cave video, and he posted the wilderness video. His wilderness video was awful. His cave video was awful. They were all bad videos. All 3 of those videos, by his standards, were not good videos.
What survival challenge should I do next? And all the comments were either...
All the comments, Ronaldo is coming! Where's Chandler?
Cristiano Ronaldo is coming, or
oh my God,
people are commenting about fake lotteries, but the way that they're saying
lake foddery because the auto bot deletes the comments.
I think he's deleting comments. So he's saying,
"Oh, absolutely, he is."
He said, "What do you all think about lake fodderies?"
Yeah, we've actually proven this already on the channel. If you've been up to date with Lord Nuxanor going down the MrBeast rabbit hole deep dive lore absorption situation, but yeah, he is deleting tens of thousands of comments.
Switching the L and the F for fake lotteries. So
oh my God,
he's been trying to clean up comments. So after that, he hasn't posted on his main channel in 2 weeks, and you can even see on the graph it's probably a third less views than usual.
That's not true. Listen, I believe that chaos should take the world, okay? I'm here to make fun of the fucking assholes, but I am gonna say it the way it is.
And you can even see on the graph.
This shaded area over here is the average view, right? From here till here is all considered within the realm of normal.
It's probably a third.
That's not a third less. This is anything above this shaded area is above normal. Anything below the shaded area is below normal. The shaded area is normal. Technically speaking, this video that MrBeast uploaded is completely within the realm of normal. If anything, it's slightly in the top end of average videos. So definitely not fair. See, I believe in making fun of idiots and stuff, but watching idiots win just lights the fire under my booty to make more fun of them. I'm okay with seeing this. I don't think that this criticism's ever going to affect him because I think his largest audience is children. Ultimately, if you go on YouTube right now and you make an incognito tab, one of the videos in your recommended will be a MrBeast video. And that's most people watching YouTube. Most people watching YouTube are just random kids that take their mom's phone and open up YouTube. And MrBeast is there and they click on it and it's all fucking exciting as shit. None of those kids watch any videos that call out MrBeast. So ultimately, I don't think this will affect MrBeast in the long run in regards to just raw view count. I do think it will in regards to connections MrBeast has and promotional possibilities in regards to collabs and stuff. I think he just won't be able to get on every single podcast of all time. I don't think he'll be able to get exactly the same caliber of YouTubers. He'll still always get Logan Paul because that guy's also a sleazebag. But ultimately, this controversy I don't think will affect Logan Paul unless it becomes more serious in some way. Like, dude hired a registered pedophile. And obviously YouTube didn't take any action because he's the biggest fucking channel on the platform. So at that point, what are you going to do? What are you going to do at that point?
Less views than usual.
Let's go to his Social Blade knockoff viewstats.com and take a look at that.
See, we make fun of his Social Blade knockoff viewstats.com, but unironically, Viewstats is so much better than Social Blade. Like, we make fun of MrBeast here, but this site is good.
You can see that like he's about to break the lower part of
this is definitely hitting the low average.
Like where his videos are supposed to be.
People realize that he hasn't said anything, and I feel like they're really getting fed up.
The point that
define people. I am not fed up. I, in fact, am can continue milking this shit forever. So the longer this drags out, the more Nuxanor content that exists. You see, ladies and gentlemen, MrBeast is my lol cow, and I will continue to milk him.
These journalists and Rosanna is trying to make is parents need to know about this because kids aren't going to be aware about these allegations. Some are. I mean,
hate to break a news flash, guys. Not only do parents not know about this, but parents don't know what their kids are doing on the internet either. So between those two things, this is a losing battle. Honestly.
There are some smart kids out there for sure. But the parents need to know that MrBeast knowingly hired a registered sex offender.
That's the worst. That is the worst thing. Like everything else that you could talk about. Listen, hires slave labor, chocolate factories, lying about his promotions and making fake lotteries. All that shit's bad. But all that's around B tier range on the criminal tier list. The hiring a registered pedophile thing is inexcusable in every possible way. Like there is no way you could write that up as anything other than inexcusable.
Knowingly rehired a person accused of sexual assault, and those kids need to keep away from what MrBeast is presenting because obviously everything that he's presenting is just for show, and there's so much behind the scenes with sexual assault.
But the thing is, I bet this is every movie producer too. Like I know we're really harping on MrBeast because he's technically a YouTuber. But this is every music producer. I don't know music producer. I don't know every. But this is probably a large percent of just the big hotshot CEO type, multi-billionaire fucking movie producer, executive pieces of shit. Like they all have skeletons in their closet like this. But there just isn't an outlet to talk about it like there is for MrBeast. There isn't like this cultural expectation for MrBeast to respond, right? Dan Schneider from Nickelodeon has been doing worse than MrBeast. Apparently, in my opinion, and it took forever until he was called out. He eventually was, but it took forever.
All with rape and with abusing employees. He's guilty of all of those.
Did you know about LaKoya Hill, or have you met LaKoya or?
I very much worked with LaKoya to the point where I don't know if you saw my tweet.
So LaKoya Hill's the guy that was that allegedly abused like an 18-year-old. Like got a room with him and an 18-year-old employee and got a room with one bed to like kind of sleep with them or something. I don't know. There's like a lot of really wild accusations about LaKoya Hill.
The other day, but after that video came out, after Dogpack's video came out about LaKoya, like all of those memories just rushed back to me, and I was just like, oh my God, he was kicked out of the company because of sexual assault. There's so many things about all of these stories coming out that I straight up just forgot because A, it's traumatizing. B, it's just so much information that whenever it comes up, it just strikes right back in my head. And I'm just like, oh my God, he did touch his assistant and things like that.
What the fuck?
Yes, I talked a lot with LaKoya when I was at MrBeast. When the sexual assault allegations or accusations started in 2021, it was announced in the company that LaKoya was taking a family leave.
That is so inappropriate. If someone... This is like when the Deep sexually rapes Starlight in The Boys, and they don't like bat an eye about it until it becomes a PR problem, and only then do they do something about it. Holy shit, it's so normalized to the point that people were forgetting it was happening. It's like, oh yeah, that guy sexually assaulted his employee. All right, whatever. And they said that it was a vacation when it was really he was being fired or moved around because he was a rapist, apparently, or something. Dude, if there is someone that's sexually assaulting their employees and you punish them or whatever, you move them around, you can't tell employees that you're just moving him because it's a vacation. You know? How the fuck can you do that? Like, you'd want to stay away from that guy. You don't say this was a vacation.
And that family leave occurred for a month. And then someone messaged me, and I don't remember if it was Ava, I don't remember if it was Carl or someone, but someone messaged me and they gave me the tip of, hey, LaKoya's not been on family leave for a month. He got caught sexually assaulting his assistant. And I was like, what the?
Jeebus, Fleebus. Yeah, I mean, that's how you're made known. By your friend on the inside that sends you a message, not because it's actually mentioned by the company. That is an actual cover-up. Dude, what is with these people covering for these people? Like, there's some things you just don't want to cover up.
Fuck.
Wow.
He took his leave July, and then it was confirmed that happened in like August of 2021. And the tweet that I posted the other day was also, you know, it didn't like confirm my knowledge of the sexual assault allegations or anything, although, you know, there's messages of that too. It just added more info.
What was that message?
Although, you know, there's messages.
Yes, LaKoya Hill, current CEO of 2021. He had an assistant named Blank. Eric LaKoya Hill acted inappropriately with Blank booking. Oh, yeah. This is the one. Booking hotel rooms with one bed, walking around in his underwear, having that person come to his house and showing him his sex toy collection. In general, LaKoya made Blank uncomfortable. The victim started complaining to the higher-ups. A report got written. LaKoya was put on paid leave for like a month. MrBeast moved back to the dubbing company. Hired back to MrBeast in 2023. Was promoted to COO. Even though Jimmy, James, and Sue, which is MrBeast's mom, 100% knew his history. Oh my God. I heard that when the victim was let go, he was given $30K in severance, and they still hired him back.
Of that too. It just added more info about like how things are run in the company, because LaKoya had a pretty high position in the company.
Crazy.
Like he was production manager.
I'm looking at it right now. But I went back.
If Dr. Disrespect needs a new production manager, I don't know if people are still working with him, but like if his companies are looking for like somebody, I feel like LaKoya Hill definitely has experience in the field. Yeah, Dr. Disrespect is known for incredible big brain maneuvers, like when he tricked everyone into thinking he was a pedophile, when in actuality he only inappropriately messaged a minor. It was a pretty big twist. None of us saw it coming. I'm literally still on the floor with the twist like that. Bro thought he was the Riddler when he was actually the Diddler. It was crazy.
Back to look at logs about LaKoya, this story came up.
And about like how there was I got hunted by an FBI agent video in 2021. And what people don't know is that was the second time that was recorded.
Oh!
Very similar to the Jake Weddle story.
What? There's another Jake Weddle story? I assume with a different person. But dude, Dude, these scrap MrBeast videos. It's like, oh yes, we scrapped this video because the first time we violated the Geneva Convention, and we thought uploading evidence of that might not be a good look.
Amazing how that happened so much in 2021. The first time that they recorded it, they didn't vet the FBI agent talent properly. And
Did you hear what he said? FBI agent talent. It's probably all fake, guys, all right? To think that he got an actual FBI agent for his video is very unlikely. It's all fake. The whole thing's a ruse. It's all scripted. It's all fake, all right? Let's just be clear. Anyway.
Ended up that guy was a psychopath and, like, bumped into the car that Ava and Chandler and all the other talent were in and, like, made them drive off the road and crash.
What?
And yeah, like he bumped it. He bumped to the back of their car and made them crash. I don't know if it was into a ditch. I don't know if it was into a tree, but they crashed the car. And
that's life-threatening. That's life-threatening. Oh my God. See, that's what I mean by a lot of his challenges are they're so fucking unhinged. Like they're actually dangerous stuff, but it's for YouTube views and it's going to be the most curated YouTube video on the planet, so no one's going to really notice. Like this is worse than the prank content shit. Like these are stunts done to just normal people.
And like it got to the point where they had to stop recording and then they decided that they were going to go separate ways with the FBI agent, but not before the FBI agent said that he used to be in the war in Afghanistan. And he said that he got PTSD about the war from that video.
MrBeast videos gave a veteran PTSD of the war. What the fuck is going on? What is going on? Dude, this Geneva allegation shit is just getting better and better. Dude, the CIA is going to capture some criminals, and instead of sending them to Guantanamo Bay, they're just going to make them compete in MrBeast content.
And then also that actually being at the war in Afghanistan was actually fun. So
they hired a guy that said that the war in Afghanistan was fun, and somehow the MrBeast video woke up the worst parts of that in his brain. Okay.
Yeah, he does sound like a psychopath.
Yeah. Just searching Lakoya in the group chat just brought up so many like different instances of Lakoya not knowing what the fuck he was doing at the company.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So he wasn't even good at his job, and they still kept him around. Dude was ass at his job, allegedly sexually assaulted his employees, and they still didn't fire him. They moved him around and rehired him and put him back, and he was the COO. Like, I don't even understand.
Because he's best friends with James Warren. Mm-hmm. So that's...
Never mind. It all makes sense now. That's how he's all around the whole time. Not because he's great, not because he's useful, but because he's friends with another guy who's also a complete piece of shit.
Okay, yeah, that's why Lakoya was then, quote-unquote, let go in 2021, but then secretly shuffled within the company to a lower position where I guess he wasn't as visible in documents, and then eventually promoted to another position of power. Up until, very recently, whenever they had to restructure the company with the leaked email from within MrBeast's team. And then he got reshuffled to, circling right back to it, Global Co. or something like that, which is the
dubbing company.
Department that's in charge of the translations, of the video translations. Yeah, I'm familiar with Lakoya.
To hear that you heard the same things at this around the same time is good confirmation. Everything that's happening right now, it seems like it could have been really easily avoided if things had been dealt with better earlier
and managed
on.
Properly.
Exactly, properly managed.
Yeah.
Maybe not have your mom be the HR.
Not being a fucking nepo company. That would definitely help.
Like we've seen.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like ultimately, when you have like Hollywood stuff, you have big companies like, I mean, obviously there's always nepotism, but we're seeing it here in like complete and utter full frontal, right? Mr. Beast, whose cousin is the CEO, even though he ran a Ponzi scheme allegedly, and whose best friend is the COO, even though he allegedly sexually assaulted his employees. And Mr. Beast's mom is apparently the commander-in-chief, and she gave the okay to hire a registered pedophile into the company because this registered pedophile is a brother-in-law of a different employee of Mr. Beast. Like, this is the craziest shit in the universe. Like, this is the most incestuous cobweb of war crimes and misery I've ever seen. Dude, brother, get the heavy flamer. Tear this down to the ground for the Emperor. Goddamn.
All of the Ava Chris Tyson discords and heard about all the weird things that were going on. Was there anything else that probably you didn't see that was talked about that you might have known about?
That's a very hard question because it's like, my heart says yes, probably. But I don't have any proof right now of like, not even any stories off the top of my head, because I would have to go back to all those messages, from...
Dude, to think that when you ask questions like this, the answer is not yes because they get diluted in all the other shit that went on in this company.
Early 2020 and look through and see like any of those things that I saw. I don't want the story to be shifted away from the culture of MrBeast and what Jimmy promotes within the company, how he wants the culture to be, is that a lot of the edgy type of content and a lot of the, edgy cringeworthy humor started with Ava. Like she sent a bunch of messages that probably shouldn't have been sent in a work group chat just because she thought it was funny at the time.
Yikes.
And
we know Chris Tyson's sense of humor involved Shadman art in the living room. So,
it's like, okay, that culture was being promoted within the company, but people are going to use that as more fuel against Ava. And because she's a trans woman, people, especially on Twitter, are going to use that as fear the trans people. And I don't want the narrative to be lost there. I want the narrative to be focused on Jimmy and James Warren and other executives within the company of what they were promoting within the company and not stopping themselves. Seeing other people come out and how they're protected because what they are saying is the truth makes me say, okay, I'm okay coming out now and saying all of this because, what I'm saying is the truth. And all of this sketchy stuff that's happening, it happened. Like you can't deny that. So, I hope what I'm saying and coming out with, I hope that the people that I contacted and others will also have the courage to also come up, even anonymously, because there are some people who don't even want to say anything anonymously.
I get that. I get being afraid of wanting to come out. Like you see, dude, I don't even know. Like as an example, Jake Weddle, who I think handled this relatively poorly. No offense to Jake Weddle, but I think Jake Weddle handled this entire situation pretty badly. I think when he went out, and this is important. This isn't just yapping, but when Jake Weddle came out with his video about with Dogpack that he got tortured by MrBeast, locked into solitary confinement, allegedly violated the Geneva Convention with sleep deprivation shit, all that was obviously bad. All right, that was very bad. And when he came out with that story, people gave him a lot of support. Then he started clickbaiting the MrBeast thing. He took some money about MrBeast thing. But he didn't take the full money, so he could still be credible, but he did take some money, so he's less credible, and he tried to make his audience happy, and his community happy, and the people that hated on him happy, and he started responding to everything, and he definitely didn't handle this the best. He's obviously not someone that has experience in this type of situation, because he was never in the public limelight before. MrBeast basically cut him out of videos. So he was never in the public limelight. He was not used to getting some sort of criticism, especially criticism for something that genuinely did traumatize him. And he handled it really badly. Okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He handled it badly. So he commented on my video here. I got my first death threats month. It sent me into a mental health spiral. And now the internet is making fun of my mental health spiral. This is so sad. This is so sad because he's just... Yeah. If anytime you become a public person on the internet, you are going to get death threats, it will send you into mental health spiral. And you're going to have to know how to deal with that. Do not publicize the mental health spiral, because if you do, it'll just give them more fuel, which just gives you bigger mental health spiral, which just makes it worse. Listen, I think I handle the hate well, which is why I think a lot of people continue to propagate the hate in general. I think I just... Dude, I see comments like Nux and Jaden reacts to MrBeast's response. This is the funniest fucking shit in the world. Like, this meme is so funny. Nux and Jaden responds to Jimothy Breast and Nux's response to the allegations. This is amazing. I'm getting canceled for having a parasocial relationship with Jaden Animations because I reacted to her videos. Okay? Like, you don't understand. I roll with the punches. I love the chaos of all this stuff. For people that aren't into that, Jake Weddle wants to do stand-up comedy, and he's not into something like this. Getting this limelight shown on him is terrifying. So, while I do think he handled it badly, I'm trying to be clear here. I think he did a bad job handling it. Okay? All right? I'm sorry, Jake Weddle, if you're watching this video and you're going to hear me say that. I'm just trying to be objective. That obviously doesn't mean that the death threats are legitimate, but or fair in any possible way. But when he says, this editor, that people don't want to come out with their information, I completely understand why they wouldn't want to come out with that information. They don't want to be in the crosshairs of anything. They just want to live their normal, human, regular life.
Because they're scared that everything can be traced back to them. But it's like what Special Witness was saying, facts ain't defamation. So
exactly. You know how hard it is to prove defamation.
I'll go ahead and tell you this.
It's true, facts ain't defamation, but that goes two ways. It's like facts ain't defamation in one direction. So if you call someone out on their bullshit, all right, yes, it's not technically defamation, but you are putting yourself in the crosshairs to be defamed as well. It is definitely a two-way street. It's definitely an ugly situation online. And ultimately, you just got to be a chaotic, neutral piece of shit like me to survive. That's right. Subscribe to join the Nuxanor cause. I have to start my Andrew Tate real-world course to start trying to figure out how to sell this ideology to you instead of just giving away all my secrets for free.
Story, the reason why I was laid off.
Terrible Jew moment on my part. I should have monetized the course on how to survive. I should have monetized that shit instead of just giving away the secret, which is... just don't give a fuck.
It's because, like I told you at the beginning of this, I worked every single night. I worked holidays. I missed my niece being born. Like, I wanted to be back in Texas to not watch my niece. That'd be weird.
Classic MrBeast employee right here. Going to Texas to watch his niece.
To go see my new niece.
Right.
Mid 2021, I decided that I was like, I hate it in Greenville, North Carolina. That's another thing. The place where they live fucking sucks. Yeah, I'm sorry to say that out loud. The people there are lovely. People are great. The town sucks. But
all right, okay. All right, solid allegation.
It just got to me, and like the culture, the hustle culture, I wasn't really vibing with because I grew up on comedy. Whenever I started working with MrBeast, I didn't even know who the fuck he was. I was just doing it for like credibility and a paycheck, really.
Respect.
So I decided I was going to move back to Texas, and I even called Jimmy and I said, hey, is it okay if I do all of my work remotely and go back to Texas and live there while still working for you?
Yeah, dude should not need to be there in person to work there. It's almost a control tactic at that point. You should not need, if you're an editor, you don't need to live in the basement of your employer. It's not like he's the cameraman.
Is 95% of horizontal, which horizontal productions doesn't exist anymore, by the way. That got shut down last year. But at the time, 95% of the team, more or less, were remote. And I was like, well, why can't I be remote? Because we had a new on-location person who was a very good friend of mine. I said he should be promoted to be on location and be at production and everything, and do this job and everything. So I want to be remote. And I called Jimmy and I said, can I do that? And he said, yes, sure. And so I got confirmation from Jimmy that I could work remotely and still live in Texas.
And the thing is, I'm sure MrBeast is going to just keep his word as a man of honor and dignity. Was that epic foreshadowing enough? Then,
in early October 2020, we posted a video. It might have been late September. I can't remember. But there's definitely a timestamp on it. We posted a video that was a Ubisoft partnership video for a Far Cry 6 sponsor with the gaming channel.
Okay. All right. It's a big sponsor. Far Cry 6 doesn't normally sponsor YouTubers as far as I'm aware. All right.
Thing was a challenge video. You know, everything had to be a challenge because that's what
the algorithm gods want. I tell this to people all the time. People say to me, it's like, oh, hey, I wanted to do a playthrough of Bloodborne as a YouTube video. And I'm going to be like, okay, but it's going to fail. What's your plan? And they're like, what do you mean, what's your plan? I'm just going to do a playthrough of Bloodborne. I'm like, okay, so what's your plan? They're like, I just record myself playing Bloodborne. And I'm like, brother, homie, friend. Because I help a lot of channels behind the scenes, which I'm just, whatever, not the point. But I'm like, listen, my friend, my brother, you can't do that. This is YouTube. Do you realize what your competition is for Bloodborne playthrough? That's boring as shit. Challenge run that crap. Bloodborne, but every time I die, I have to piss in my own mouth. See, that would go viral, okay? See, this is every single time. I tell this to people all the time. You gotta format content. Gotta format content every single time. And people are like, oh, today I decided I wanted to just play Pokemon. I'm like, yeah, but every time a Pokemon loses, I tase myself. All right?
It's like whenever they watch a YouTube video, it's engaging for them and all that. But how do you make a challenge video out of fucking Far Cry 6?
Far Cry 6, but every time you die, you have to put a dildo up your ass. But every time you die, the dildo needs to get a little bigger each time. All right, listen, it may not be monetized, but it will go viral.
And if you don't curse on your channel, by the way, I'm sorry. I have a sailor's mouth. It was this video. First to raid island wins $100,000.
See, this is the classic title. I tell people to do this as well. This is playing Far Cry 6, okay? But they don't put Far Cry 6 in the title because this is a much more generic audience. First to raid island wins $100,000. That is the most generic ass title in the fucking universe, and that's exactly what MrBeast's videos need to have. Far Cry 6 limits the audience to Far Cry 6 fans, whereas First to raid island is everyone. Look at how genius of a titling scheme this is. Also, he doesn't have Far Cry 6 in the comments, so is this not sponsored? Like, you should have it in the top line of the description. It should have Far Cry 6.
Far Cry 6 is a single-player game, and so we had to have 4 talent make a challenge out of this video where they're not on the same map or anything. So it was just like, this video was doomed to begin with because it's not Minecraft, it's not GTA, it's nothing interesting. What kid is going to go out and buy Far Cry 6? We got to Giancarlo Esposito film something for it.
What? You're the employee of the month at Los Pollos Hermanos. That guy?
So that was cool.
Starting to feel a little OP, are we? I've seen what you can do, Mr. Beast Gaming.
We posted it.
What? What? That's in a Mr. Beast video? Oh my god.
And Jimmy put me on a group call with the other leads at Horizontal. He was fucking furious about it.
What? Listen, I've had videos flop before, but what? He called this He said, listen, you have to make a video about Far Cry 6 even though there was no chance of it succeeding, and then the video flops because obviously it flops. It's a sponsored video. Every sponsored video flops because they're sponsored and the sponsor takes up time that people click off the video. All right, listen, secret message from Lord Nuxanor himself. All sponsored videos do worse, okay? If it wouldn't be sponsored, it would do better, okay? Especially because that entire video is a sponsored video. Like, this is unbelievable. So he calls them to yell at them for this video flopping when it had absolutely no chance of success just by the fact that it was a sponsored video? Guys, if I get a sponsored video, I know for a fact the video is not going to perform well. Like, especially if it's a full video sponsor, right? Because let's be honest. Okay, you know what? Fine. I'll be completely frank with you. Chat. If I did a video titled, This is Crazy, okay? That's the title, so you don't know what you're getting into. So you click on the video, This is Crazy. And then it turns out it's a 10-minute playthrough of Raid Shadow Legends. You would click off in the first minute because you don't care about Raid Shadow Legends per se. That's so yeah, obviously that video is going to flop. It's only going to have 1 minute of watch time per view instead of what should be like 10 minutes of watch time per view, and people wouldn't watch it. Like, Matt Pat did a video, or One Punch Man video, just purely for his One Punch Man sponsor. Like, this is the classic gimmick of the YouTube life. You can't yell at someone for this video flopping when it had no chance of success just by its very idea.
Because, like, it started tanking.
And also, what's this idea of yelling at your editors for a video flopping?
Just so much. And he was just like, why do we post this, blah blah blah, every video needs the best video possible. Trey, this is all your fault. This is all your fault for posting a cringe video. And we need to work more hours. We need to do this, we need to do that. And it was during that call that I was like, Jimmy, I'm not working more than 45 hours anymore per week.
Holy shit. That's when he tells him he's cutting down, in the middle of Jimmy yelling at him for not doing his job. Or, well, for doing his job, but for the video flopping, which wasn't his fault. Holy shit. This dude sounds like a complete narcissist control freak. Every video needs to be 1 out of 10? What the fuck kind of crazy-ass mindset is that? Every video will not be 1 out of 10. Especially if it's a sponsored video that's inevitably going to fail. How the fuck do you do that?
I'm not working Saturdays and Sundays anymore. I will continue working for you, but I'm not doing that. And he paused, and he was like taken aback. And he was like, oh, I didn't know you felt that way.
I didn't know that felt that way. I mean, I knew you were working 15-hour days every day, 7 days a week, including Christmas, Hanukkah, and Easter, and also your birthday and July 4th. But I didn't know you felt this way. That this was annoying in some way.
Which is, how do you say that? Like, the average work week for an American is 40 hours a week. How are you going to say that to me?
Imagine being surprised that you won a weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And people at Walmart can't work more than 40 hours a week, because if they do, then Walmart's breaking a law. Like, I told him on that call with the 2 other leads at Horizontal, and then I got a message from one of the other leads.
And MrBeast looked at him with a stink eye, and he said to his compadre, he turns to James Warren and says, have you ever heard something like this? A slave speaking up to his owner in such a fashion? James Warren shakes his head. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Then he Ponzi schemes his ass. What the fuck is going on? You read old fan fiction about these characters.
Leads a few hours later, or maybe the next day, saying we need to talk on Monday. So that ruined my entire weekend that weekend of just like the impending doom of just like, oh my God, they're going to lay me off.
Well, that's why you shouldn't have said anything right before the weekend. You should have said something at the beginning of the work week.
And then there was a gaming session that happened on Monday, and I was there on the call, but like no one was talking to me, so I knew what was coming. And it was just like, yeah, after that call, that lead called me, and he was just like, sorry, we got to let you go. And I was
crazy. He was let go because despite being like good at what he does, he was fired for wanting to work normal hours, for wanting to work 9 to 5 instead of 5 to 9. You understand this shit? Or do you think he was fired because he had the audacity to talk back to the Jimothy Breast himself?
And I was crushed too. I was just like, I mean, what can be? We can change things. Like, what can be done to change this? And he's just like, I'm sorry, that's just the way it has to be.
Damn.
And I mean, and Jimmy even had the fucking audacity to call me after that call and ask if I was okay. That was definitely another story that I wanted to get out there about why I was laid off from MrBeast. And I feel like that your channel is going to be like the big revelation on that, by the way. So hopefully that explodes in his face, because it is true. And that did happen.
Yeah.
I have such weird feelings against it because I did go through it, and then I tell people and they're just like, that's so much shit. And I don't know if it's because I'm Irish or something, but I tell the stories and I'm just like, yeah, I took some punches, but I'm still me. Whereas other people could repeat what I went through and they would go fucking nuts. So I'm definitely a different person.
Yeah.
Because I come from a background like, you know, I worked shitty customer support jobs before I worked on video editing and everything. And it got to a point whenever I finally got my foot in the door, I was just like, okay, I have to do everything I can so I never have to answer another goddamn phone call ever again. You know,
That's the strong mindset, trying to make something of yourself. But the issue is, if you actually sacrifice yourself to that degree, shit, dude. It's like you go from one place where you're getting abused to another one, and it's like you don't want to complain because you don't want to go back to the first one. God damn.
The interview that I had on Friday, they asked me about how did it affect you? And I'm not going to go much into this because it was emotional, but I actually went to therapy after MrBeast because
it's crazy to think about that shit. It's like you need to go to therapy because you worked for MrBeast. It's like, oh God, that's wild.
because it was that impactful for me. And when I was telling them that, I started crying. So
oh man.
If I have anything else that I can remember, there's so much shit, dude. I don't know what else to say right now just because there's so much. But if I have anything else, I can send it to you.
Yes, perfect. Sounds good. Thank you everyone for watching this video.
Yikes! That's crazy. Oh God, dude. The more employees that talk up about the MrBeast stuff, the more I just think about how these people suffered. Every time I see one of these things, I just think to myself, wow, these people really suffered. You could sit here and make the argument that, yes, technically, this is an employer, everything was legal, it's an employee that he fired, you're allowed to fire your employees, not holding that up against you. But, every single one of these people needed therapy. Every single one of these people comes out with, these awful, tragic stories. And you could argue that it's for clout purposes, and it might be. I'm not saying it's not. I know a lot of people come out. Whenever I get canceled on Twitter, you get all my old arch nemesis coming out of the woodworks to try to find ways to spin it for clout purposes. But ultimately, I can't really think about that too much when I hear about how broken these people sound. Just from the amount of people complaining about the sexual assault shit that goes on in there and the mistreatment and the lack of human empathy. It just makes me feel like MrBeast really became one of those fucking egomaniac, narcissist, sociopath CEO people. And it's kind of scary to me to see how this keeps developing. Again, very excited for the MrBeast actual non-bullshit news statement spokesperson response with an actual human being talking. That'll be wonderful. But for now, as you know, I, Lord Nuxanor, will continue to press my butthole on the chaotic cracks of society, as I tend to do. And thank you for joining me on this journey. Stay weird, fam. If you made it to the end, click one of these two videos, which also will definitely get me canceled. See you live on Kick. Stay weird, fam.